Atiku is a sore loser by Kasim Afegbua. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel. To get notified when we post hot juicy news updates, please click on the notification bell. On Sunday, 1st October 2023, Nigerians back home were celebrating the nation's 63rd independent anniversary. Whereas in faraway Dubai, Atiku Abubakar, who cannot visit the USA because of the Jefferson corruption case, was busy celebrating the verdict of a USA court concerning the release of school documents of President Tinubu to his council. Recall that in 2019, through some R&G process, the US consulate in Nigeria allowed Atiku Abubakar visit America for God knows what. Atiku's Jefferson corruption case has been a recurring decimal in the story of his life, but behaves oblivious to that, and he is going about talking about President Tinubu's document. Anyway, that is politics, a career in which supporters' friends covertly and or overtly, if necessary, try to undo one another, always putting themselves first. What Atiku Abubakar could not get through the ballot boxes on the 25th of February 2023, he wants to get by other means, or should I say any other means. He's been running from pillar to post trying to rake up more to hit the fan to somehow unseat President Tinubu. His present workshop is located in faraway America. I sum up Atiku Abubakar's effort as the last kick of a dying horse, wanting to muscle all his energies to make a statement about the election. His plot is all about discrediting the president of our country and creating negative media buzz to the point that the international community would be willing to be an accomplice in his power game to unseat President Tinubu, maybe backing their position with the gale of coups in West African sub-region in recent past. President Tinubu, as we know, is no newcomer to the game of power. He surely understands the game and is following Atiku bumper to bumper on this expedition. Those who complain about the annulment of June 12 election are the chief proponents in favor of another annulment through the courts because they feel it might profit them and their aspirations. The courts cannot generate results of an election unwittingly void the outcome of the election. The issues before the election tribunal were exhaustively canvassed and the judgments had remained unassailable, even though the petitioners have raised some grounds of appeal just to justify their returns ahead to the Supreme Court. As a nation with so many diversities, we must look at the bigger picture of the consequences of another annulment today, e.g. the economy. Our current statistics are very poor. Anything done now that dents us could push the nation into becoming a failed state. If his ambition was indeed about helping the nation grow and adding value, by now, no matter his reservation about the election, he would have accepted the outcome and started helping the country move forward in whatever way that he can. As we know, some of those who seek office and power want them solely for the sake of their selfish interest, while others seek them because of what they intend to bring to the table for our progress. The stability of the political atmosphere is important for the growth of a country. We can only achieve greatness when the right atmosphere exists for robust engagement of all. An attempt to use a United States court by obtaining documents with Chicago State University to discredit and hopefully cancel the election, in my opinion, is an overkill in Atiku's struggle for power control. But on this score, he has failed woefully. The 8.7 million voters that returned President Tinubu as the election saw him as a better candidate than others who also contested in the election. I believe that the judiciary cannot be arm twisted or bullied, whether by all eyes on the judiciary or by parading scandalous, extraneous, and belated evidence, even if accurate, to blackmail the institution to buckle in their responsibility. The Atiku camp has set up a media committee to continue to generate media bliss to sustain the discourse. They hope to exchange the ballot box for the courtroom, legal crazy instead of democracy. Some are even reasoning that a coup at this time has become their desire. But thank God the Nigerian military has come out loud enough to pledge its loyalty to the constituted authority, President Tinubu. This impure dirty politics of an endgame of Atiku's who has been a perennial aspirant for the number one position for the past 31 years, is an effort to clinch it by all means on account of his age and a setback for further attempts. He might not be able to seek election again, and his present effort must yield ground for him, so he desperately wishes. This is the whole idea, an idea of an incapacitated in political greed and self-grandeur. One gives an opportunity, rather than argue, he causes victorious he rather than argue his cases victoriously in court. This petitioner during the tribunal proceedings went on to wild good chase, steering clear of what ought to be the grave man of his petition. But instead, went chasing doubts without any scintilla of supporting evidence and was unable to substantiate his bogus claims. He, of course, lost. He needs to see that his burning desire outcome is a mirage. Now, knowing fully well that following the provisions of the Electoral Act, as I made to understand, he may not be allowed to plead new grounds as a petitioner on appeal in the Supreme Court, and his matter has been adjudicated in the appeal court. Unhappy with this position, he is all right. He of course lost. He needs to see that his burning desire become outcome is a mirage. Now, knowing fully well that the following the provisions of the Electoral Act as I am made to understand, he may not be allowed to plead new grounds as a petitioner on appeal in the Supreme Court. As his matter has been adjudicated in the appeal court, unhappy with his position, he is now on the next item on his list of how to become the president of Nigeria. What forms an appeal to a higher court and predicated on a disagreement arising from the verdict based on the earlier issues conversed and not fresh pleadings. Even with the supported victory in America at the Chicago State University document, he'll be very lucky to be able to present any findings as a fresh pleading to the Supreme Court. The Chicago State University some time ago stated clearly that President Tinubu attended the institution and they also made public his transcript. Even if the Supreme Court grants Atiku Abubakar the video to smuggle in any pleading, the issue will also be argued for relevance to the whole essence of the petition. This game of power has its own undercurrents. There are way too many movements involved in this whole drama, but my crystal ball tells me that is that Nigeria under President Tinubu will come out stronger. The present litigation is a huge distraction that should be knocked off once and for all to enable the president focus on his vision and mission for our country. From the present narrative, it is crystal clear that President Tinubu won the election, and that is why petitioners have now left the shores of his not winning the election to the residents of saying that he was not even qualified to run for the election. Alright, on this note, we have come to the end of the news, so thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come here next time, enjoy the rest of your day.